All new this noon, the handful of locations being considered for that new train station in Buffalo has now been narrowed. Larkinville no longer on the list, so it's either Canal Side or the Central Terminal. But new this noon, Congressman Higgins says one of those locations would be a bad idea. And 7 Eyewitness News reporter Liz Lewin joining us from the newsroom with more. Liz?
Yeah, Katie, well, Congressman Higgins, that's not all he's saying. He stopped by the station today and he tells me he's not quieting down or giving up when it comes to choosing the right place for the next station here in Buffalo. Now, with 1 month to go before an official announcement is made, Congressman Higgins is continuing his fight to revive the Central Terminal and the city's east side, calling it the logical choice for a new station. Now, if chosen, Higgins says it offers customers access to points west, destinations like Cleveland and Chicago, which is Amtrak's hub, other places that aren't accessible from Canal Side. The congressman says when it comes to the Canal Side site, well, it doesn't make any sense, and other more appropriate things can be done with it.
The Renaissance of Buffalo means nothing unless it can find its way into the forgotten neighborhoods of Buffalo. And I still believe that the Broadway-Fillmore area, the Central Terminal, the Broadway Market are places worth investing in.
Now, I did reach out to the city as to its stance on the issue. City spokesperson Mike DeGeorge shared this statement with me in part saying, quote, "The city is going through the formal process and letting data and information drive the ultimate decision." Now, Mayor Byron Brown and the selection committee will be hosting a public open house on Tuesday, March 21st from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Museum of Science. That's an opportunity for people to learn more about both options. Again, a decision to be made in April. But our very own Josh Bazan will continue coverage of this story for you tonight at 5 and 6. In the newsroom, Liz Lewin, 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Liz, thank you. At 12:02, let's take a look at the 7 First Alert Sky Watch. You can see it's a dreary day in downtown Buffalo. Showers and wind throughout the day. And meteorologist Autumn Lewandowski tracking your 7 First Alert most accurate forecast. Autumn?
It's a windy day this afternoon. We'll call it breezy because we have to save windy for tomorrow, where wind gusts will be near 60 miles an hour. This afternoon, we'll deal with them around 30 miles an hour or so. As we look at some of the rain showers out there, we'll have more to come. But what we're going to talk about first off is where we're going to see the high wind warning and at what time. Beginning at 9 a.m., although the highest wind gusts, they come during the middle of the afternoon. So we go from around noon to around 6 or 7 o'clock at night, those wind gusts over 50 miles an hour, and especially along the lakeshore going through Wednesday evening at 10 o'clock. There is also a wind advisory for Cattaraugus and Allegheny counties running until 1 a.m. early Thursday morning. Now, what we're going to have are some high wind gusts that could break some tree branches, definitely tip the trash cans, and it will definitely be a bad hair day. Power outages, that will be a possibility, especially with some tree limbs that might fall onto power lines. The same old rigmarole that we dealt with last week, well, now we're dealing with it again. Rain showers are out there. We have a frontal system that's going to whip on past later this afternoon. We're going to have these scattered showers throughout the day, and temperatures winding up in the middle 50s, eventually winding down into the 30s. The cold air is to come behind all the high winds that we have on Wednesday. We'll bring it to you in your 7 First Alert 7-day, Katie.
Autumn, thank you. And we're following this developing story from overnight in Buffalo. 2 teenagers shot just after 11:30. This happened in the 100 block of Best Street, right near Michigan Avenue. Police say both of these teens were taken to ECMC. One was treated and released. The others being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Still, police are asking anyone with information on this shooting to give them a call. And another man is in critical condition today after he and 2 others were injured in a drive-by shooting. Police called this a targeted shooting. It happened yesterday at the corner of Genesee and Eller. Sources say it appears to be gang violence. So far this year, 15 people have been killed in shootings in Buffalo. Now, as we told you, in just these past 24 hours, at least 5 people have been shot in the city. None of those 5 people died, but if we continue at this rate, 2017 could be the Queen City's 2nd deadliest year in the past decade. 12:05, we're working to bring you more information about this accident involving a bus and a car. It happened at Walden and Genesee around 9:30 this morning. Our 7 Eyewitness News photographer says both the bus and the car sustained a good amount of damage here. The car had to be towed away from the scene. Investigators say a rollover crash in North Tonawanda happened because of a distracted driver. It happened on Frederica Street late last night. The Niagara County Sheriff's Office says this driver was not paying attention and then lost control. No one here was seriously hurt. Republicans have finally revealed their plan to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, but a new poll shows Americans are divided about what that new plan will do. The CNN ORC poll shows 50% of those surveyed oppose removing the requirement to obtain health care coverage or pay a penalty. 48% favor it. 87% of all those polled support maintaining Obamacare's protections for those with pre-existing conditions. Now, questions still remain concerning the new Republican health care plan, how much this plan will cost, and how it will affect the 20 million Americans currently covered under the Affordable Care Act. ABC's Janae Norman is in Washington with the latest on this new health care proposal.
The Republican promise to repeal and replace.
I am also calling on this Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare.
1 week after President Trump's call to Congress, House Republicans outlined their plan to overhaul Obamacare. The plan swaps subsidies for tax credits to help Americans buy insurance, ends penalties for Americans without insurance, gradually ends the expansion of Medicaid, which provides coverage for more than 10 million Americans in 31 states, and ends funding for Planned Parenthood, but the White House offering to keep funding if the organization stops offering abortion services.
This isn't a law that can be fixed. This isn't a law that can be saved. It has to be repealed and replaced. We promised the American people we would do that. We're going to keep our promise.
The plan keeps two of the most popular ACA provisions. Coverage still can't be denied based on pre-existing conditions, and young adults can stay on their parents' plans until they're 26. But Republican Jason Chaffetz on CNN making waves with his comment seeming to acknowledge the plan will shift more of the financial burden to individuals.
Americans have choices, and they've got to make a choice. And so maybe rather than getting that new iPhone that they just love and they want to go spend hundreds of dollars on that, maybe they should invest it in their own health care.
President Trump tweeted calling the plan wonderful, but even some Republicans are voicing concerns. Senator Rand Paul tweeted the plan, quote, sure looks like Obamacare light. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
And meantime, President Trump is calling on leaders from Japan and South Korea today after North Korea's recent missile launches. North Korean state media claimed they launched 4 ballistic missiles yesterday. 3 of them landed 200 miles off the coast of Japan. U.S. officials say Trump spoke with acting South Korean president and Japan's prime minister. The UN Security Council will hold closed meetings on North Korea. Those are set to take place tomorrow morning. Happening today, the Williamsville deputy mayor accused of hitting a parked car while driving drunk will be in court. Amherst police say Chris DeQuinn drove away after that crash, and the Amherst Bee is reporting Mayor Brian Culpa is expected to accept DeQuinn's resignation today. Also today, locals from Western New York are headed to Albany. They're urging leaders to pass the Raise the Age legislature. The Raise the Age campaign is aimed at raising the age of criminal responsibility in New York State. Right now, 16 and 17-year-olds can be tried as adults. New York and North Carolina are the only 2 states in the United States that do this.
Children and adults do not think alike, so therefore they shouldn't be charged the same as an adult when they are 16 and 17. Their mindset is not like an adult.
Advocates of Raise the Age also say raising the age would reform New York's juvenile justice system, also create better outcomes for youth and public safety.